Initially, when our process started for selection of all the clubs and committees, everybody was into we have to get in one or the
Mhm.
other club and committee. Nobody was about the context of that club or committee. Everybody was like, okay, fine, I know this, I'll get into that club and committee.
Like when you talked about working 3 or 4, so we used to also like work till 3 and 4, and then we have next day class at 8, right? But even that, like it's really an enriching experience, Like I guess it prepares us for the corporate world outside. Like we are put
Yeah.
to so much extreme. Hello, namaste, and welcome to another episode of podcast series with Skilled Sapiens. This is Ayan Havelia, your host and host, and I welcome you to Skilled Sapiens Podcast, your ultimate destination for all your requirements, be it growth, innovation, or development. Here at Skilled Sapiens, we are not just another mentorship firm. We are a platform dedicated to ignite the flames of every potential individual, entrepreneur, and professional. Whether you're a student navigating your way from campus to corporate, or an aspiring entrepreneur who is seeking to turn your dreams into reality, we have got your back. Well, it's my pleasure to introduce our guest for today, Ms. Bhavya Jain. She is an MBA student from IFMR GSB. She is an active member of the Culture Committee last year. Bhavya resides from Udaipur, Rajasthan, and have completed her medical before joining MBA. It is our pleasure to have you here with us, Bhavya. So, Bhavya, before we start, how do you feel? How is it being here for you? Would like to share your thoughts?
Yeah, it's a new experience for me. I've never done a podcast before. So it's like a new thing for me to explore.
Great, great. So, getting right at the topic, so we are here, to discuss how and important it is for MBA candidates like to be part of clubs and committees. And you being part of last year. So, first of all, last year was something very intriguing for me, the name itself. So, why don't you
Yeah.
share with our audience like what last year is all about, what's it is, and what is your role and responsibility there?
Yeah, sure. Even for me, last year was a very interesting name for me. It's a basically it's a cultural committee. So in this committee, we are here for organizing events and collaborating with different clubs of our own college to
Mhm.
have a proper event for everybody. And it's very important for our college life because last year is the only committee which can give you which can yet where everyone can relax. So yeah, and it's all about cultural. So even if we perform a dance, even if we select a song, or even if we organize an event, we back then in our mind, it's about like everybody's culture. We keep in mind that each and every culture is being followed and is being respected.
So,
So yeah, it's
what is
all
it
about
that you do as a being part of this committee? What is your role and responsibility out there?
that. Yeah. I contribute in obviously in organizing events and the creative aspects of the committee, like for mm, starting from the decor to conducting the event.
Okay.
That's our part.
Great, great. So, many times individuals in MBA, like when they're pursuing the MBA, they have this mindset like, why to waste time in clubs and committees? Why not just focus on grades to, get some good achievements like academic feats? So they kind of miss out on this club and committee part. So, would you like to shed light on how actually it helps a candidate, like in overall development? How has it helped you?
Yeah. Yeah, even at one point of time, I was also about to think all those things because it was very difficult for me to manage academics and the committee part. But you get to know about all those qualities as well, like the leadership, the
Right,
the collaboration, the team collaborations, the way of organizing events. Now we are at the urge of conducting smooth events. We conducted very smoothly because now we learned how to manage time between our academics and between the committee things. So that's very
right.
important in MBA life to manage everything simultaneously. So that's a thing everyone should focus on. And it also adds up on your CV as well.
Yeah, I agree to that. So I also have been very much active in my clubs, like, to the point which you mentioned leadership. It's really very important
Yeah.
because, entrepreneurship, I guess, when you look for going out profession life, it's all about leadership and time management, which I guess these clubs really help a lot. So, do you think you have grown a lot, like from where before joining to this in club, and like what has it helped you out there?
Yeah, I've grown a lot because firstly, time management, I've learned a lot
Right.
about managing my academics. Because it's not just about your academics, it's also about beyond academics. So that's the primary thing that I learned. And second, it's like, starting from the budget and till the conduction of the events, it's like a whole sum of responsibilities that you follow and that you do being, and it feels so good being a part of that committee that you do for other 250 for your batch. So that's a very good thing about it. So yeah, I've learned that those things well.
That's really inspiring, because I obviously feel that everyone should really put their efforts being part of committee. But so when many times also this happens, that students are hesitant, about the selection process. It kind of, maybe
Yeah.
someone is not very much open to be part of that process, rigorous process. Because many times I remember my process also, it was very rigorous. It was kind of 9 rounds, after which we get selected in that committee, right? So how was the process for you? What was the learnings, the key learnings from that?
So so initially, when our process started for selection of all the clubs and committees, everybody was into like, we have to get in one or the
Mhm.
other club and committee. Nobody was about the context of that club or committee. Everybody was like, okay, fine, I know this, I'll get into that club and committee. But the thing we learned after getting into that committee, we realized that yes, we are meant to be in this committee after we got selected, not beforehand. So it was just like filling up the applications form that why you want to be a part of that club or committee and what can you contribute to that club or committee. It was just the basic things and everybody was just filling it and nobody was into the roles of the or responsibilities of those clubs and committees. So then they had interviews after that. Interviews
Okay.
were like eliminating the other person, that why you should be taken. um
Mhm. Exactly. What's your
yeah,
USP?
yeah, what's your USP and why you should be selected and he shouldn't be. So that was the thing. And third was like our personal interview, that
Okay.
why we should take you and what can you like literally contribute to the club and committee. And that's it,
Hmm.
that was the selection process. So
Well,
after
that's really,
getting
really
into that club, after getting into Lassia, I realized that yes, beyond creativity, also I can do a lot of things like organizing and anchoring and sort of collaborations and everything, budgeting also. So yeah,
okay.
after getting into those things, we get to know a lot.
Right. So you mentioned like it happened that during the process, some many candidates wanted to be in some club, but they somehow ended in somewhere else, and then they found that actually they were meant to be in that group. So was it the case for you?
Yeah.
Like, did you want to go somewhere else, but then you found yourself a good fit in last year?
Yeah, Glacia was like we had four priorities to get
Okay.
into a club or a committee, each for
Right.
a committee also and for a club also. So Lasya
Hmm.
was my third priority.
Okay.
First was
Okay.
the Genesis and second was the Earth Sabha. So those two committees, one is for admissions and the second one was for the finance related.
All right. All
So
right.
yeah, obviously, if we are majoring in finance, so we were like, okay, fine, we
Mm-hmm.
should go into those committees.
Mm-hmm.
This would add upon us, but
Mm-hmm.
we were not realizing that what are our capabilities to get into those clubs and committees. So yeah, so last year was my third priority, and also in clubs, also my third priority was Abhinay. So both
Okay.
the third priorities had got selected into the final rounds. And then I realized that okay, fine, I should have been, kept those first. But then yeah, it went well and I got selected.
I think I also agree on that point because I too had this similar kind of thing. I wanted to be part of some other club, but when I'm currently the one which I'm working in, I really find myself good fit there. I find myself very comfortable in that role.
Yeah,
And I think that
because I've
it's
never
somehow
been into a committee now.
okay.
So I don't
Okay.
know how to like work in a committee or a club. I just know that I want to get selected in a committee.
Yes, so I also think like when people they are not being part of such committee exposures, so when they join a whole new journey, it's kind of a different learning from them, which will not be given in a textbook learning. Like I think you might also, as you told, you have learned a lot since you're now never been part of this committee culture, everything. So how has it helped in your personality overall till now, apart from those academics
Personality,
and
first thing is that managing time. The second was my leadership, because
Mhm.
now I am leading everything, like, from the scrap, from the material for the decor, and
Right,
from yeah, getting those items, everything, each and every single thing, mailing those to the authorities and getting the
right.
permissions, every formal and informal way. I must say that I've learned a lot, literally a lot, which has helped me personally and professionally as well. Now if I'm doing a podcast and telling you all these things, it is
Yeah.
because of that only. I've gained a lot of knowledge.
I think, yeah, that's all. Only like to become confident enough, being open to
Yeah.
like, talk about it, everything. So when we're talking about this time managing, like we learn a lot about time management. And everything. So do you think like was time management an issue for you earlier, like even with the committee? So committees also do take a lot of commitment. I know that. And then MBA also, it has its own commitment as academics. So how have you been able to manage that time? Like was there any pitfall particularly for you at the start?
Yeah, there was, because it was like we used to had a quiz or a exam the next day,
Hmm.
and the event,
Right.
we used to prepare for the event. Each and every decor, we are supposed to prepare that. We
Okay.
are given
Yeah.
the budget, and we need to prepare for that, getting those
Mhm.
materials and everything. So it was like, you cannot manage the academics because of the committee thing. You need to spend 3 to 4 hours for that particular thing to get those decor
Uh,
done. So we were like, late nights till 4 till 5 we used to work, and then we used to study, and then we used to go get up and go take the quiz. So that was very hectic. But then I realized that I need to schedule some part, because
mhm.
if it's like everybody is in that thing only, everybody is suffering from that thing only. So we then decided we need to schedule some sort of thing that
Right.
even 2 or 3 members are free, they'll contribute their part and they'll go. So
Mhm.
whenever, because everybody's has their own classes scheduled, not everyone has the classes at same time.
Right.
So it's,
Right.
yeah, so we decided that if some of the members are free, they'll get gather and they'll do their work and they'll go. So that's how we
Mhm.
work, because we used to wait for everybody to gather and then start the decor. So it used to get very late. So
Yeah,
now
I
we are
guess that
following
that.
that cycle. Yeah.
Mhm. So that
So
team
like,
bonding is it's very special. The how you manage like
yeah,
the team bonding, everything.
yeah,
I
yeah,
remember like when you talked about working 3 or 4. So we used to also like work till 3 and 4, and then we have next day class at 8, right? But even that, like it's really an enriching experience. Like I guess it prepares us for the corporate world outside. Like we are put to
yeah,
so much extreme.
yeah, yeah. Even in the pressure, you can work this well, then you are prepared.
Exactly. Exactly. I guess that's what MBA is all about then. Because if
Yeah,
you are ready for this, then you are ready for the world outside. So jogging
yeah.
these memories only, like would you like to share any particular memorable experience you have had till now, working with last year with your teammates, everything?
Till now, our memorable experience was conducting our first event, which was
Okay.
Halloween-based event.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, which was named Chilloween. So it
Ah,
was our first event, and our senior team, they just handed over that event because they were like, "Ki, we need to know where are your, like, what are your drawbacks? You need to conduct that
okay.
event and you need to manage everything." They just they just gave a brief about everything, that what all sort
Hmm.
works and how it works. But then we conducted the event and it went successful. So that was our first, like, that was our memorable experience. And now our memorable experience would be selecting our juniors. So that would be
Oh yeah.
another one.
Right. That's always fun, like getting when we were on the one side of the panel, now it's roles reversed, right? So that's obviously kind of really amazing. So,
Right.
is there any particular advice or something like which you think you would like to give to motivate people, to be part of this club and committee whole culture? Because as you have already been talking about it, like how it really not just apart from building personality, but it also prepares her for the world outside, like with all the extremes and the team bonding, everything. So is there
Yeah.
something
So
you have to kind of?
yeah. So being an MBA student, you have to get into a club or committee because you need to manage things, because it'll help in your corporate world. There will be times where you would be pressurized to do certain works. So you need to handle those things, that how would you proceed with the situations around. So it is very neat, very it is must to get into a committee to learn all those sort of things, because you literally it helps in your personal as well as your professional growth. So yeah, I would just advise that.
That's really great. So, I'm sure there might be viewers who will be watching, like from your college, like any junior would be looking forward to be part of last year, right? So, any particular advice or tips and tricks, how to get into the selection process of last year, or like what should they do?
Yeah, I guess we have made a criteria that whoever will make a logo, like we have a logo carried on for
Mhm.
like now I guess 4 to 5 years it has been the same logo. So we've decided that one of our selection process would involve creating a logo which would be creative enough, and also our applications form would be like not just getting into that committee. What
Mhm.
roles and responsibilities do you think that you can contribute those to that committee, and what actually you can do to that, but what actually you think about a club and committee, getting into a club or committee.
Right.
So I guess we'll modify those things, and also we'll be like, taking personal interviews round, so that we get to know that what all, like we'll propose situations accordingly, and we'll
Right.
get to know that
Right.
how one can handle those situations, because it's not about just getting into the committee, it's about handling that thing, that responsibility.
Right.
So yeah, we are planning those things.
So, while we're discussing on this whole process, as well, so I've noticed this, like in my college itself, like what used to happen is, there's a kind of a set procedure which is carried on through our seniors, and
Yeah.
it's passed on, like how we'll be selecting. So when we are on this side of the table, like it gets very rigorous for us, and we be like at that point, like when we'll be getting that position responsibility, to conduct it for our junior, we'll be very much lenient or something. Like we'll do something different. So, is there particularly any different thing you're planning out, or how are you like
Uh,
exactly thinking about it?
yeah, I guess I have a plan like to conduct a dummy event. Like how
Acha.
would you, yeah, how would you conduct an event given the budget, given the
Right,
decor, given
right.
everything? How
Mm-hmm.
would you execute? We'll prepare teams,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll assign everybody the role, or else you can assign amongst yourself that who is best, and accordingly you can assign those roles to every one of you. And then we'll
Right.
see that who contributed the most, and how, they are able to take that thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
I
that's the
guess
thing I've
that's
thought, and I guess I'll do that.
I guess that's really a great idea, because just putting right at the very beginning on the plate, like what you'll be, exposed to the whole rest of your year. So it will kind of mentally
Yeah.
prepare them also, and it will push them to get out of the comfort zone. Like just go at it. Just bring out your creativity. What can you think out the best?
Yeah, because the only word they write in the application form is creativity. So
Right.
it's the best way to see their creativity and then select them.
Mhm. That's really great. That's really so. What do you think? Like any last word out there for our audience? Anything?
I guess clubs and committees are very underrated, because they're like,
Mm.
people just get into those just for
Right.
co-curricular things,
Right.
and
Mm.
they're just like, okay, fine. But I guess in our college there are one or two students which are like, they if they get a chance to get into all the clubs and
Mm.
committees, they'll get into that, because they have that passion that, okay, fine, whatever comes in our hands, I am open to take that, because they don't feel that
Yes.
being pressurized or sort of that.
Mm.
But that's a good thing, and that's a great thing if you're confident enough to take on more and more responsibilities. So it helps more of your personal and professional development, overall your holistic development. So the only advice I should give, that do understand the core part of the clubs and committees, and just try to contribute as much as you can, because it's not just
Okay.
about um following the trend, it's all about your
Hmm.
growth as well. So yeah.
Well, you heard it. So that's what I too believe. Like clubs and committees are too go underrated. People tend to miss out on the importance of them. And I guess MBA is more about these co-curriculars rather than just academics because somehow I guess we are moving towards a paced world where skills will matter more than your degrees and those skills will be given by these clubs and committees only. Well, that's it for today. That's a wrap, folks. So I hope you found this episode enlightening. A very big thank you to Bhavya Jain. Thank you for being here. It was really incredible having you here, sharing your insights with us. And to all our listeners out there, so your supports mean everything to us. If you really enjoyed this discussion today, be sure to hit the subscribe button and do leave a review because your feedback drives our passion and helps to deliver better to you. Until next time, keep exploring, keep growing, and remember, greatness is within your reach. This is your host, Ayan Havelia, signing off. Skill Sapiens, get evolved with us. Thank you.